Mammy Till, Emmett's mother, was born in Mississippi, but her family moved when she was young to escape violence, lack of opportunity, and unequal treatment under the law. She raised Emmett with the help of her mother in a suburb in Chicago.
Mammy Till's uncle, 64-year-old Mose Wright, visited her and Emmett in Chicago during the summer and told Emmett stories about living in the Mississippi Delta. Emmett wanted to see for himself.
Bradley was ready for a vacation and planned to take Emmett with her on a trip to visit relatives in Nebraska, but after he begged her to let him visit Wright instead, she relented.
Before Emmett departed for the Delta, his mother cautioned him that Chicago and Mississippi were two different worlds, and he should know how to behave in front of whites in the South. He assured her he understood.
Statistics on lynchings began to be collected in 1882. Since that time, more than 500 African Americans have been killed by extrajudicial violence in Mississippi alone, and more than 3,000 across the South. Most of the incidents took place between 1876 and 1930. Though far less common in the mid-1950s, these racially motivated murders still occurred.
Throughout the South, whites publicly prohibited interracial relationships as a means to maintain white supremacy. Even the suggestion of sexual contact between black men and white women could carry severe penalties for black men. Till arrived in Money, Mississippi on August 21, 1955. On August 24th, he and cousin Curtis Jones skipped church where his great-uncle Mose Wright was preaching and joined some local boys as they went to Bryant's grocery and meat market to buy candy. The teenagers were children of the sharecroppers and had been picking cotton all day. The market mostly served the local sharecropper population and was owned by a white couple, 24-year-old Roy Bryant and his 21-year-old wife, Carolyn. Carolyn was alone in the store that day. Her sister-in-law was in the rear of the store watching children. Till's friend Jones left Till with the other boys while he played checkers across the street.
The facts of what took place in the store are still disputed.
One of the boys came up to me and say, man, you got a crazy cousin. He just went in there and said bye to that white woman. And that's when this man I was playing checker with, this older man, I guess he must have been around about 60 or 70, he jumped straight up and say, boy, say, y'all better get out of here. Say, that lady come out of that store and blow y'all brains out.
In any event, after Wright and Till left the store, Bryant went outside to retrieve a pistol from underneath the car seat. The teenager saw her do this and left immediately. It was acknowledged that Till whistled while Bryant was going to her car. However, it is disputed whether Till whistled toward Bryant or toward a checkers game that was occurring just across the street.
This is Mose Wright. I am the uncle of Emmett Lewis Till. Sunday morning, about 2:30, someone called at the door. And I said, who is it? And he said, this is Mr. Bryant. I want to talk with you and the boy. And when I opened the door, there was a man standing with a pistol in one hand and a flashlight in the other hand. And he asked me, did I have two boys there from Chicago? I told him I have. And he said, I want the boy that done all that talk. And they marched him to the car, and they asked someone there, was this is the right boy? And the answer was, yeah.
When asked if the voice was of a man or of a woman, Wright said it seemed like it was a lighter voice than a man's. In a 1956 interview with Look magazine, they confessed to the killing. Bryant and Malam said they would have brought Till by the store in order to have Carolyn identify him, but stated that they did not do so because they said Till admitted to being the one who had talked to her. They tied up Till in the back of a green pickup truck and drove down towards Money, Mississippi. According to some witnesses, they took Till back to Bryant's groceries and recruited two black men. The men then drove to a barn in Drew. They pistol-whipped him on the way and reportedly knocked him unconscious.
In an interview with William Bradford Huey that was published in Look magazine in 1956, Bryant and Millam said they intended to beat Till and throw him off an embankment into the river to frighten him. They told Huey that While they were beating Till, he called them bastards, declared he was good as they, and said they had sexual encounters with white women. They put Till in the back of their truck, drove to a cotton gin to take a 70-pound or 32-kilogram fan. The only time they admitted to being worried, thinking that this time, in an early daylight, they would be spotted and accused of stealing, and drove for several miles along the river looking for a place to dispose of Till. They shot him by the river and weighted his body with the fan.
After seeing the mutilated remains, Mammy Till decided to have an open casket funeral so that all the world could see what racist murderers had done to her only son. Jet, an African-American weekly magazine, published a photo of Emmett's corpse, and soon the mainstream media picked up on the story. Less than 2 weeks after Emmett's body was buried, Malam and Bryant went to trial in a segregated courthouse in Summer, Mississippi. An open casket funeral galvanized the emerging civil rights movement. More than 6 decades later, in January 2017, Timothy Tyson, author of The Blood of Emmett Till, and a senior research scholar at Duke University, revealed that in a 2007 interview with Carolyn, she admitted to him that she had lied about Till making advances towards her. The following year, it was reported that the Justice Department had reopened an investigation into Till's murder.
I believe that the whole United States is mourning with me. And if the death of my son can mean something to the other unfortunate people all over the world, then for him to have died a hero would mean more to me than for him just to have died.
Get me to speak up for other people, to speak up for my son, to speak up for myself.
He was a loving son, a loving father. He cared about his family.
My life right now is about around activism and getting justice. I'm a voice for him, and I'm a voice for a lot more boys and girls.